Hi everyone, I'm Nicole.
And I'm Trevor.
And welcome back to the recap.
We're so great to have you back. I don't know if you noticed, but we're in a little bit of a different location. We are at the University of South Florida at the Zimmerman College of Mass Communication. It's my own alumni, so it's great to be back in the studio. We are here with someone really special today, though, our star of the show. This is Alexis Yahre, and I won't put words in her mouth, but she recently accomplished something spectacular that we would like to draw attention to, right? So go ahead and take it away. You're a Lutz local. Why don't we start there?
I was born and raised here in Tampa, Florida, and growing up I had an amazing experience of getting to go to all these different state parks in the area. And now that I'm making films here at USF, I thought, what ideas can I draw from that? So I went out and I started just by documenting the different people that help take care of these parks and the animals that live in them. And what I came to discover is that there's a lot of conservation issues in the area, and that these endearing people and creatures have so much to share with you on a personal level if you go and visit them yourself. And on top of that, what you realize is that all across Florida, there are huge changes in the geography and in the species that are available. What you realize is that even though you can visit hundreds of different state parks, even just between 10 of them, there is such a massive difference in what you can find there: springs, waterfalls, beaches, and all of the species as well.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So on our state alone, so many places to explore, so many things to appreciate that without your documentary, some people might not even have noticed, right? So it's a fact of bringing attention to these beautiful places that are just within our backyard, right? I lived here all my life, so I know there are so many places to explore, but that many other people might not know. But then also the conservation factor of it, right? There's an importance to it. And it's not just, right, it's not just us talking. You have been recognized for it. You have gone on to receive a very high accolade. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that and what you received for your work on the documentary?
Well, recently I debuted at the Gasparilla International Film Festival, which was, what an amazing experience that was.
So cool.
Yeah, I didn't expect to make it so big so quickly. And on top of that, I went to the Cannes World Film Festival and the New York International Film Awards, and I won Best Director at one of those.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. You initially did it out of the thought of conservation and bringing attention to what we have here, but you were respected for it. And I mean, the Cannes ceremony, we were talking in the car, that's pretty much, it's close to the Oscars in terms of accolades. So congratulations, that is spectacular.
Yeah, so I was actually unaware that there were so many state parks just right here. So I was going to ask, what was your favorite state park that you visited and why?
I think my favorite state park that I visited, even though it was a tough choice, was Homosassa Springs Wildlife State Park. And what made that one special was just how you were able to walk through and have animals flying at you and getting up close and personal with them. And I loved being able to see how it was all connected, because they did a really interesting boardwalk through it. So you weren't just going in a straight line on a path somewhere, you actually had a guided experience.
Right. Yeah, so this is kind of like completely flipping the switch, but what are your plans after college in filmmaking?
So I have a lot of plans for after college.
That's fine.
Yeah.
As soon as I graduate, I'm looking to get a master's degree and then a PhD, as well as I'm making some new projects through Pepperoni Studios, which is behind me. I am working on a narrative script that will be coming out hopefully next year, and then I'm working with Showtown American Pictures and hopefully scripts as well.
So other than wildlife and nature, what other ventures do you want to go into film and record?
There are a lot of cool topics that you can find just by looking, and that's what this experience has definitely taught me. And when I went to Blue Spring State Park, they were talking about the manatees there. And that whole interview was only 20 minutes long, and it could easily be a documentary on its own. So it was a disappointment actually having to cut that short. So I just want to go out and explore different parts of the world and different topics that are out there and document them further and find what makes them interesting.
Yeah, and then one of the last things I was just going to ask is, in the article that Mike had written, it basically said that when you were younger is when you started to work for Pepperoni Studios. How old were you when you did that?
So I created Pepperoni Studios myself when I was about 12 years old. Okay. Yeah, I started very young. So in middle school, the story is my dad, he put CS5 Premiere on my computer. So that was about 10 years ago. And I just loved it. I was playing with it, and to me it was more of a toy than anything else. And I would go on YouTube, I'd find different tutorials, and it just grew. And I started doing a lot of food photography specifically and commercials for that. So that's how Pepperoni Studios got its name, because of the food aspect.
When you were out documenting all these things, what was something that you learned personally that you'd like to share with other people?
Well, the most impactful, unfortunately, is also the most sad. But when I was out there working with these manatees, it was really upsetting to discover that the way they identify the different animals there is through something called a scar chart. And so, yeah, the collisions with the boats create scars on their backs. And when they do their research at Blue Spring, they basically have to draw out charts of the different scar patterns, and that's how they identify them as individual animals.
Almost like a fingerprint.
Yeah, but
almost like a fingerprint. Wow.
Yeah, that obviously stood out though, because it raises awareness about how important it is to protect them.
Right, the conservation aspect of it, going
Yes.
back to that. Wow, that's insane. So, are you allowed to share with us any future upcoming plans in terms of what's in the works for you next? All right, you don't have to reveal too much, no spoilers or anything, but what's in the works for you?
I'm allowed to give a little bit.
Okay.
I have a narrative film coming out soon. It is untitled still, very in its infancy stages, but it will be exploring the different stages of grief and putting a fresh twist on that through someone who's experiencing a gap year in college.
That's cool. Yeah, that's really cool.
Really relatable.
And do you see yourself in the future maybe submitting some more of this stuff to these big festivals like you did?
Yeah, I would love to. What I have found is, as a woman and as a new filmmaker, I was worried that I wasn't going to be accepted in the community of filmmakers here, and they have been so amazing and accommodating. And I really feel like I have a home here in Florida, and even if I make projects all over the world, I know that there's going to be room for me in the film festival circuit.
Lutz native, going on to accomplish all these things. USF, young, talented. Thank you so much, Alexis, for coming on and talking with us. We are so excited. Yeah, in your pursuit of knowledge, what you come up with next. We appreciate you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you, guys.
And I think that's all we have for the recap right now.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you on the next episode. In the meantime, don't forget to like, subscribe to social media, Facebook, all that good stuff.
See you next time.
Bye.